Salamun alaikum and welcome to day 14 of our How to Read Quran series, a program on the Quranology Institute's YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about locating, positioning and framing Quran. Now I know these terms may sound a little bit outlandish or pretentious even perhaps, but I promise you there is a purpose to this. And by the end of this exercise, you will gain a better clarity on how you should read Quran. Now, what do I mean by positioning, locating, and framing Quran? I will give you an analogy. If you go into a library and you ask yourself, oh, okay, look, I want to buy a Quran, where would you go? I have never been to a bookshop where Quran is found in other than the religious section. So in other words, whenever I go into a bookshop, I will find the Quran by actually going to the religious section. And it will say Islam there, it will say the Holy Quran, and I will get it and I will pay for it. That's usually the case. But if we ask ourselves, if we look at contents of Quran, does it actually have things which can be considered religious? Well, number one, let's say religion consists of dogma. Does Quran contain dogma? I don't believe so. I believe Quran contains processes through which you may attain conviction. It does not contain dogma. It doesn't say, okay, blindly believe in something and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to go through a life process, and by the end of this life process, you will attain Iman or conviction. Neither does Quran contain any rites or rituals. I mean, for years, I used to wonder, why would Allah place isolated verses here and there if he was talking about rituals? And it turns out he wasn't. He was actually talking about certain spiritual tools which we have, but that's a separate discussion. The point is, very little of Quran can be considered to be religious. Quran does contain theology, yes, but the theology is, as I said, a process. So it's not the same as like Al-Ghazali, for example. Al-Ghazali has a book called Tahafud al-Falasuf, a refutation of the philosophers, where he explains why God exists and why God is eternal, etc., etc. Quran does not have that. Quran does not have extensive logical arguments as to why God exists. Rather, it invites you into a process through which you may attain that realization. Now, this does not mean that it is bereft of logic. No. What it means is that's not its focus. It does not have lengthy discussions like normal theologians. So that's religion. Could we perhaps place it in a book of politics, in the political section, sorry? Many Islamophobes now say that Islam is only a political ideology, it's not a religion. But here's the thing though, politics is by definition something which promotes your self-interest. In other words, you are political because of your own interests and your own needs and your own wants. But with Quran, you have to give up your interests in order to be right with God. So in other words, let's say if I have some money, and in politics, my job would be to get more money. But in Quranic philosophy, as I understand it, I would have to give that away in the best manner possible in order to attain a higher spiritual level. So you see, Quran is not about politics. Economics. Yes, Quran contains many injunctions which are economical, as I said, like giving away one's wealth, etc. But it does not have economics in that normal sense either, because in classical economics, man is measured by his wants and his unlimited wants and his limited resources. Now, Quran tells you to curtail your wants. You can have and enjoy the world, but it is within certain limits. And these limits beyond that is for the needs of others. You see, so it is economical in that sense, but it is also challenging the norms of economics. Because in classical economics, man is seen as this creature with unlimited, insatiable thirst, unquenchable thirst, insatiable hunger for enjoyment. Well, no, Quran does not sanction that. It gives you the enjoyment as a measure, but beyond that, you do have to work for society. So it is challenging economics, but you can place it in the economics book if it is an alternative form of economics, if you like. Philosophy. Would Quran be in the philosophical section? Now, for a long time, I thought yes, it would. But again, philosophy is something which is conceptual. I mean, you will not find a book of philosophy which, like, okay, here is our philosophy. Oh, please do something. And then here is our philosophy. And oh, do something. No, it doesn't work like that. Philosophy usually consists of long treatises which will then give you, how to think, etc., etc. But that's not how Quran works. Quran, from the beginning, it gives you information and it tells you to do something. And then it gives you information and then it tells you to do something. It is about signs and your engagement with those signs. Ayat, as I've mentioned before in a previous video. So in the end, at the end of the day, where would you place Quran? Personally, I would say Quran deserves its own genre, simply because it is a very unique book. And I'm not talking about, in the literary sense. Arabs usually say that Quran is not poetry, not prose. But that's not my concern. My concern is application. And application to me, necessitates that we know what kind of a book Quran is. To me, Quran is unique. It is a book about our essence. The human essence means the unchangeable facts about humanity. That is what Quran is really about. And it defies any kind of location, a direct location. Rather, if you ask yourself, where should the Quran be? It should be in its own section. Now, but hold on, that is just my answer. For you to study Quran effectively, you should figure out your own answer to this question. And in doing so, you will attain a deeper Quranic experience. So many thanks for viewing this video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 15. I'm not quite sure what I'll be doing yet then, but inshallah it will be beneficial. Thank you very much, and bye.